Hi, everybody. My name is Brennan Carroll. And
My name is Amanda.
We're going to be talking to you a little bit today about interprofessionalism and recreational therapy. Thought we would start out by talking a little bit about ourselves. So I said, my name is Brennan Carroll. I'm 24 years old. My hobbies include just I'm really into cooking. I love to do some music. Art is a huge thing. It's been cold, so lately I've been doing more of my crocheting. I read, play video games. If I can be outside, it's awesome, but now that it's getting so chilly, it's not really the way to go. So my background education, I graduated from Owasso High School in 2014. Pretty much knew that I was going to go to college immediately afterwards, so headed to Grand Valley State University and ended up picking my bachelor's in psychology. Took me a couple years to figure it out there, but I just kind of messed with a few different things. Went for that. Really liked really liked it. I was originally going to go for occupational therapy, which is a master's program, and it didn't turn out for me. I didn't get included into that, so I took a couple years off and then came back in this year for the recreational therapy program and found that I really, really enjoy this. I have had a lot of work experience, and so I've worked through my college times and my high school times. Worked a ton in high school, different jobs, doing just some goofy stuff. But it was really my sophomore year of college. Someone had come in and talked to us about healthcare in general, and that's where occupational therapy first really seemed cool to me. So I looked at an event that was going on for some summer education stuff, and there happened to be a camp that was hiring that was just down the road, and it was specialized to special education and just anybody with a disability that could go there, aged between 5 and 80. So I got a ton of experience there. That was really where my passion started for special needs and getting into recreational therapy or any sort of therapy. It was such a cool place. I was an overnight counselor for a couple of years, so I got a ton of experience with people with disabilities. And then I also became the sous chef of there, which was really cool. I got to experience a ton of food stuff. Cooking is a big thing, so I want to utilize that in my therapy. So that was a really cool little experience for myself. During my little stint between college times, I worked in a restaurant, and I found that this was an awesome place to gain a lot of skills. Over a year, basically I became a whole new person with my work. Really good organization. My time management got a lot better, delegating tasks. So if you get a chance to, you get some good money. It's a lot of fun, and it's a really good place to learn a ton of skills. My last little area of work over my 10 years has been hard labor. I did installing commercial pool liners, which was a ton of work, and lawn care. I think it was a really good thing for me personally, because both of those taught me just why I wanted to go to college and why I thought school was important instead of doing this hard labor for the rest of my life. You really feel it after a couple of years, and so I can only imagine what it would feel like at 45. So that is a bit about myself. I am going to pass this along to Amanda.
Hi, so I'm 29 years old, and some of my hobbies and things I like to do are camping and traveling, so being outdoors. Typically I go up to Newaygo or the UP. One interesting thing about my travel is I couch surfed in Ireland, which was a really great experience. I like to paint, particularly with watercolor. A lot of the time I do board games with friends, Uno, Euchre, Sequence, and Codenames. My education, I graduated from Northview High School in 2010, and I moved on to GRCC. Originally, I planned on going into art therapy, but I focused on, at the time, history and psychology. The school that I wanted to go to was in Detroit, but I ended up working in assisted living along the way, and I found recreational therapy, and that was with the geriatric population, and that's where my heart lies. So a little bit about recreational therapy. So recreational therapy, according to ATRA, which is the American Therapeutic Recreation Association, a systematic process that utilizes recreation and activity-based interventions to address the assessed needs of individuals with illnesses or other disabling conditions as a means of psychological and physical health. recovery, and well-being. Some of the domains that they cover are physical, mental, cognitive, psychological or emotional, social, and spiritual. Some of the populations that we serve are in behavioral health, so working in community mental health, inpatient and outpatient services, home care, corrections, child and adolescents out in the community, so parks and recreation, inclusive recreation, outdoor adventure, disability or adaptive sports, groups homes, or in management. Older adult senior centers, adult health programs, long-term care, assisted living, or hospice. Physical rehabilitation in medical like oncology and burn units, or working in schools, K through 12, or after school programs, and with the veterans or military. You can assist in program, even though that's like covers all the fun things, you can assist in program planning, assessments, and evaluations. The fun things would be activities of leisure such as like sports, swimming, bowling, outdoor activities, hiking, rock climbing, horseback riding, or arts and crafts. Some of the pros for recreational therapy and going into that is it's rewarding. You see clients grow and change, and it's meaningful. The purpose behind the process, and it feeds upon your compassion and empathy. It can be draining as part of compassion fatigue, and that's why it's important for yourself to enjoy leisure and kind of work with yourself so you don't get burnt out. All right, and then some of my recommendations for you are to use resources available to you and build professional relationships. So guidance counselors, academic advisors, get yourself exposed. So build your networks, apply to different places, work in a lot of different industries. Like Brennan said, he's worked a bunch over the last 10 years. He's seen a lot, he's done a lot. I took a leap and went into assisted living, and that was a big change for me, but it's been one of the most rewarding things, and that's where I found my exposure to recreational therapy. You work with a lot of populations. I solely have worked with the geriatric population, but I'm looking into going to get exposure in child and adolescents, and then other older adult populations. Gain skills. So as you go along, gain skills like your CNA or CPR first aid. You need that anyways. In the program, get your volunteering in. So that's part of your networking, building those professional resources, and you'll get recommendations, you'll get guidance, which you need those professional backgrounds to help you with the application into the program. And classes, as you go along, feel things out. I did psychology and history for a while. And with that, I'm able to relate and reminisce with my residents. And so that was beneficial. So it might not directly be related to recreational therapy, but you can use all those information, all those other classes to assist in your ability to connect. And the growth mindset is really important. So along with getting exposure, that you're going to learn as you go. And then on to Brennan for interprofessional importance.
All right, guys. So obviously the whole thing about this is interprofessionalism, and recreational therapy, that's kind of its like base and point, is that we're trying to make the patient's experience, their life, just everything that goes into the assets of a person's life, try to get the best out of it. It means it's a person-centered approach. It's always going to be unique to the person that's doing it. It's going to be unique to their resources available, who it is, their family, the quality of education that they have around them, just every little facet that you can think of. We have to kind of like take that and be unique with it. The whole goal is to have good well-being and quality of life, just like having satisfaction. If someone was to say, how do you feel about your day? How do you feel about your life? Like, you can answer in a good way. You feel positive about just the way that it's going. And people with disabilities especially, so they really just, sometimes they need that big push, and a recreational therapist can be the person to help them find that. But also in recreational therapy, we recognize that it's got to be a team. There's a ton of areas of expertise that go into this. And so we can be working with a multitude of people, physicians, other domains of therapy. It's not uncommon to see someone going to like speech therapy, occupational therapy, recreational therapy, physical therapy. So having connection with all of the different doctors and the different therapists that are talking about this, it's really important, because you can see a lot of areas of that person through a different set of professional eyes. I mentioned that you're looking at the patient as an individual, but also their families, their caretakers, the people that are going to see them on a daily basis. They need to understand that, like, why this is really important, and what everything that the therapy is doing to try to help put their lives into place. And the same thing with educators or leisure ed. Say like somebody's taking music classes, like, it's good for you to kind of be able to talk to them and maybe give them some guidance or give them some tips on how to work with somebody with a disability. So you pretty much will see interprofessionalism on any given day, any given patient, with recreational therapy. But it's really cool, because I think that's a huge portion of healthcare that is kind of up and coming, and it's going to be big. So if more doctors and more physicians, people can talk to each other, it kind of puts everybody on the same playing field, and it can really benefit a lot of places, benefits the patient for the most part, and that's kind of the whole point. So I think that we've covered most of our stuff. It seems pretty good. This is it was kind of a little background of our education and how we got here. As Amanda said, experience is just a really good thing. If you can get a chance to experience anything, that's sort of just the way to do it. If you hate it, you hate it. If you love it, you do. You'll love it. It's just, you won't know until you do it. You can look in a book as much as you want, but experiencing it in real life is definitely a difference. Volunteer, ask for someone to help, even just walk into a place and say, hey, I've got some time in my hands. You got anything I can do? People are open to communication, and they really love seeing that somebody's trying to understand and do something with their stuff. So any area, especially healthcare, just get yourself out there and see how it goes.